You use it every day. You'd panic without it, and yet the roll of toilet paper in your bathroom is barely 130 years old. For most of human history, people reached for something else. Sponges, stones, snow, even a page torn from a catalogue. Some of it works better than you'd think. Some of it will make you wince. Start in ancient Rome. Aqueducts, marble temples and public toilets. Long stone benches with holes cut in a row where Romans sat shoulder to shoulder, talking business and swapping gossip. But no stalls, no privacy. And when they were done, they reached for the tessorium, a natural sponge lashed to the end of a wooden stick. Here's the part that gets you. The sponge wasn't yours. It belonged to the toilet. You'd rinse it in a bucket of vinegar or salt water and leave it for the next person. One sponge. Everybody. Next time someone says the good old days were better, remind them about the sponge. The Greeks went with rocks. Seriously, smooth pebbles called pessoi, and broken pottery shards. There was even a proverb. 3 stones are enough. But here's the twist. Some shards were ostraca, the same ones Greeks used to vote people into exile, with an enemy's name scratched on. So you could, literally, wipe with the name of someone you hated. Everywhere else, people used whatever was local, water across India and the Middle East, still the norm for billions today. Leaves and coconut husks in the tropics. Up north, moss, and when the moss ran out, snow. Yes, snow. In America, corn cobs on the coast, mussel shells. But the real breakthrough came from the East. China invented paper, and naturally used it in the bathroom. As early as the 6th century, a scholar named Yan Zhitui wrote that he dared not use paper printed with the words of sages for that, which tells you what everyone else was doing. By the 1300s, it was industrial. The court ordered 720,000 sheets a year. The emperor's supply came soft and perfumed. Meanwhile, in Europe, kings were still using their hands. Europe took over 1,000 years to catch up. When printing got cheap, people improvised. Old books, newspapers, almanacs. In rural America, the real hero hung on a nail in the outhouse, the Sears, Roebuck catalogue. Hundreds of soft pages, delivered free. The old farmer's almanac even started drilling a hole in the corner so you could hang it on that nail. You read it first. Then you put it to other use. The first person to sell toilet paper as toilet paper was a New Yorker named Joseph Gayetty in 1857. Flat sheets, soaked in aloe, sold at the pharmacy as a cure for hemorrhoids. Gayetty was so proud of it, he had his own name watermarked onto every single sheet. And it flopped. Because Americans took one look and thought, why pay for that when the newspaper is free? The roll we know showed up in 1890 from the Scott Paper Company in Philadelphia. Perforated, tear off, on a roll. But selling toilet paper was so embarrassing in Victorian society that the Scots refused to put their name on it. They sold it unbranded and let stores add their own labels. Gayetty stamped his name on every sheet. The Scots hid theirs. Same product, opposite instincts. And it still wasn't comfortable. Early toilet paper could have actual wood splinters in it from cheap pulp, which is why, in 1935, Northern Tissue advertised that its paper was splinter-free. That was a selling point. After that came the softness arms race, 2-ply in 1942, then quilting, lotion, scents. all selling the same roll. Which brings us to 1973. That December, Johnny Carson joked on The Tonight Show that America was running out of toilet paper. It wasn't true, but 20 million people were watching, and by morning, every shelf was bare, and stayed that way for weeks. Humanity, which once shared a single sponge, couldn't survive 1 week without the roll. From a shared sponge to a perfumed imperial sheet to the roll in your bathroom right now, that's not just toilet paper, it's civilization hiding in plain sight. So tell me, which was worse, the shared sponge or the corn cob? Leave it in the comments. This is Everyday History. See you in the next ordinary thing.